I'd been fantasizing about this moment and the release of emotion that would accompany it for many months. But now that I finally was here, actually standing on the summit of Mount Everest, I just couldn't summon the energy to care.
My personal book is Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer. It's the same author who wrote Into the Wild. Jon Krakauer was sponsored in 1996 to write for the Outside magazine and to report what he would see and experience while climbing the summit of Mount Everest. The adventure turned out to be, for many people, a misadventure. Actually, it turned out to be one of the deadliest seasons on Mount Everest. Krakauer did not only write the article for the magazine, but he actually wrote the book Into Thin Air because he wanted to talk about it and wanted to share it with the world. It was very easy to read. I read it in less than 2 days, even though it's about 320 or so pages. But the chapters are really short. They are always really intense, and I really like that in front of each chapter he has like artwork, which shows a scene on the mountain, and then he always says like where it took place, so it's easy to follow. And then he usually has a quote or two from another book about climbing. Well, he does not only talk about what happened on the mountain, but he also talks about rock climbing, ice climbing, mountaineering. I don't want to give away the details of the story because I think you should really read the book yourself. It's so worth it. Just want to share what I found really, like the topics that I found really interesting in the book is, for example, what we talked about in class too. When is it still an adventure and when is it not? Like, can you buy adventure? Is that less of an adventure or not? And even though the commercialization of Everest has increased immensely in the past century probably, it's definitely still an adventure to go to Mount Everest, even though there is a big controversy about it among the climbers. And also the topic, should you be allowed to use oxygen or not? And especially when you're a leader, should you have oxygen or not? Due to the many tourists, so to speak, on Mount Everest, there are so many oxygen bottles that are actually garbage and not used anymore. Another aspect Krakauer writes about that I found really interesting is the Sherpas and the impact of the commercialization of Mount Everest on their culture. Yeah, without Sherpas, no one would be able to climb Mount Everest because they carry, they cook, they fix the ropes, they prepare the way. While reading, I enjoyed observing or understanding the roles of the different leaders on these expeditions, and also the will of the climbers who actually go through so much agony while trying to reach the summit. And then once they're on the summit, they are so exhausted they can sometimes only stay like 10 minutes, no, or just 1 or 2, and then they are only halfway there because they have to get down again. And many people died also after reaching the summit but not getting down in time because of a bad weather event, a big storm that no one could foresee. Yeah, and that's the crazy thing in the mountains, like you don't know what's gonna happen no matter how skilled you are. Into Thin Air is most similar to our rock climbing adventure because they are climbing the mountain the whole time. The difference though is that we didn't have ice. It was a sunny, nice day. It was like, I don't know, 20 meters up the stone wall, but here they climbed the tallest mountain on earth. Also, their expedition took more than 2 months. We just spent like 1 day there without staying the night, and they always slept in tents in the snow. They went ice climbing, and especially the high altitude, the higher you got, the weaker you got, and that's why they had to do acclimatization processes before they actually could reach a summit. We didn't have to prepare for that at all. The difference to backpacking is that we brought our food ourselves, we brought the water, and then in the night we cooked, and for the climbers climbing Mount Everest, it's the Sherpas who cook. And for sea kayaking, our third adventure, I like to take a quote which is on the back of the book. In this movingly written book, Krakauer describes an experience of such bone-chilling horror as to persuade even the most fanatical alpinist to seek sanctuary at sea level. I mean, as if sea kayaking was so easy, but I definitely agree. This book is a little bit terrifying, sad, but also very, very fascinating. It doesn't have to be something new or you've never done before, but it certainly pushes you to your limits. I want to keep challenging myself and not get stuck or too comfortable in one situation in life. I constantly want to learn more, and I want to stay connected to my environment, and that's why I love adventures, especially outdoors.